உள்ளதல துள்ளகுடு உள்ளது உள்ள பொருள் உள்ளல் அற உள்ளத்தே உள்ளதால் உள்ளம் எனும் உள்ள பொருள் உள்ளல் எவன் உள்ளத்தே உள்ளபடி உள்ளதே உள்ளல் உணர்வாயே. Namo Ramana. With Bhagavan's immense grace, we have been meditating on the verses from the Ramanopanishad, Ulladu Narpadu. We find ourselves in the Anubhava segment in verse number 32. அது நீ என்று அம்மறைகள் ஆர்த்திடவும் தன்னை எதுவென்று தான் தேர்ந்து இராது அது நான் இது அன்று என்றெண்ணல் உறல் இன்மையினால் என்றும் அதுவே தானாய் அமர்வதாலே. அது நீ என்றம்மறைகள் ஆர்த்திடவும் தன்னை எதுவென்று தான் தேர்ந்திராது நான் இது ஒன்றெண்ணல் உரல் இன்மையினால் என்றும் அதுவே தானாய் அமர்வதாலே. Namo Ramana. As the Maharishi Bhagavan gives us the right way to look at the Mahavakyas. From the Rishi's Anubhavam, only such a one can delineate between two great paths. When Ganapati Muni comes to the Brahmana Swami and says, having fallen at his feet, I have done crores of japas, obviously must be dhyana. I have read and understood the scriptures, Veda Vedanta, to my heart's content, but I have still not completed the tapas. The tapas remains incomplete in me. I have that feeling, I have that the tapas has not yet been fruitful. When I was discussing this verse with my mother, in her own small way, she was saying, I have done Om Namah Shivaya, but I have not felt that everything is Shiva. That is when Ganapati Muni came to our aid and I told her the incident. How even after crores of japa, his tapas, which is obviously great penance, but still the truth is not before him. The tapa is not yet complete, and he comes to Brahmana Swami, and Bhagavan says, observe from where the I thought arises, and there the mind meaning Jagat Aham Para. The Triputi of Jagat Aham Para is made up by the mind. All the three will get absorbed in that place, says Bhagavan. Observe from where the I thought arises, There the mind will get absorbed. That is tapas. And the Muni, on our behalf, on the behalf of the great tradition of dhyana, asks, I am a mantra japi. Is there no way my tapas can get fulfilled through that? And Bhagavan says, observe from where the sound of the mantra arises in you. And there, once again, the mind will be absorbed. And that is tapas. And we have before us that particular reference to Atma Vichara and Dhyana, and how Atma Vichara is direct, and only one does not have, or one feels one does not have the strength of mind, one can resort to dhyana for support. Then once the mind is ready, one should start Atma Vichara again. But we are going ahead. Let us stick with the verse. Aduniyendru ammaraigal aarthidavum. The Chandogya Upanishad says Tattvamasi. In fact, all the Mahavakyas say the same thing. The 4 Mahavakyas picked up from the 4 Vedas. There are so many Mahavakyas, say the great ones. But all these 4, they point to the same one. Tattvamasi, the Shishya on realization saying, Aham Brahmasmi. Then Prajnanam, Brahma. I am Atma, Brahma. All these mean the same, that the Jiva and the Para are one and the same. There is only one reality. There is only one Atman. There is no Jivatman and Paramatman. There is only Atman. Aduniyendru ammaraigal aarthidavum. The Vedas, through the Upanishads, through the Mahavakyas, drive home ahasputam tattvamasiti Veda. With such force, they say that if there is a reality, not if, as there is a reality, you can't be anything other than that. Whatever is unreal, let go. Your reality will shine forth by itself. You don't have to become reality. We had seen that from another direction, that the whole of learning is looked at from the point of view of doing, knowing, and being. And Aduni is being. What is meant by that? What it is not doing something and getting. Aduni, we do certain things and get certain things. And we have this, within inverted commas, good habit that we learn from the past and correct ourselves in the future. We say, oh, in this conversation, in this event, I have behaved like this. Hereafter, I should not behave like that. But that is not closure, because that goalpost is going to move again. You change your behavior, approach similar things in similar way. That is not the end point. That is not the truth. Goalpost will be moved again, because phalama shashvatam. And the doing is apart from being. So, Tattvamasi Aduni is not doing something in the physical area, going from here to there and achieving something, or changing your mental tactics from this to that and reaching somewhere, then what is it? That movement in place and movement in mind is absorbed in the self here and now. Aduni, when we feel bad about ourselves, having been in one place or having done one thing, what is the best solution? The best solution is not hereafter I will go off there. That is, of course, that has paid dividends. It has purified the mind. But now it is time to ask, for whom is this thought? For whom is this thought that I could be better in future? It is to me. Who am I? Full stop. The consciousness burns the karma. All doings are burnt at the source. No intention to go to some place and then reach or change our mental approach and then be. No, it is being the self here. The attention is fixed on one's own eternal existence. One has to be for doing to take place. So it is not doing. Is it knowing? Of course, it is not knowing, because knowing also has this gap and change, measurement of change. Whereas, who am I? Am I this changing body? The Panchakosha Tattva is inquired into in the first answer, where Sivaprakash Pillai asks, who am I? I am not this physical body which has had childhood, youth, middle age, old age. Am I that? Obviously not. I am that consciousness which is aware of these changes, says the Vedas. Am I the Prana Shakti which feels very strong in the morning, just at food, energetic, going for the walk, come back from the walk and gym, the eyes doze away and you feel the prana, the Shakti has dropped. But are you that? Are you the hunger that energy creates? Are you the full stomach which makes you forget your own existence? You are the consciousness that is aware of these changes in the prana Shakti. Are you the new knowledge you have gained from GPS to go to a new place? Or the new knowledge you have got about a better nutrition, complex carbohydrates? You didn't know, you know now, you have added it to your data bank. Is that what you are? Are you the data bank? No. You are that consciousness which is unchanging, which knows the changes in the data bank. And that very nutritional facts are changed in a few days by the people who presented it in some ways before. Then you change your own data bank and act accordingly. Are you that knowledge? No, says the Vedas. You are that consciousness. Are you the buddhi which says this is good, this is bad? That was not a good act on my part. This is going to be a good act. No. Who am I? Vedas say you are that consciousness which is ever present, which undergoes no change, no birth, no death. Ahasputam tattvamasiti Vedaha. Aduni endru ammaraigal aarthidam. As the Vedas declare that thou art that. What is it that we have to do? Bhagavan says immediately you should ask, who am I? What is the wrong association I am identifying with? That I want to be of better health in I have to have more retained energies. I have to have more knowledge about these things. I want to be a better dealer with situations. No, those are all goalposts which will be taken away. This too shall pass, says a Persian poet. What is the glory of all these worldly titles? Asks a Christian tradition from the 1600s. Right up to 1963, it was there. The Pope, when he takes up the post, the new Pope, he has to walk a particular path and a procession is taken, and 3 times on the way he has to stop. And one of the officials from the Vatican, they will go in front of him, hold a cloth in front and burn it, and make that statement. Transitory is the glory of all these positions. Are we those titles we are aiming for? They are all transitory. We are that consciousness which is observing that everything is passing without any change in itself. The waking comes and goes, the dream comes and goes, the deep sleep comes and goes, but you are the same. Aduniyan Rammarehal Arthidavum. There is another way the Vedas take us through this practice of Aduni, the Drik Drishya Viveka, where the enquiry is into not the truth of the Panchakoshas, not into the transitoriness of the world, but in the relationship between the seer and the seen. The seen is always changing. The seen is dependent on the seer. The seer is unchanging. So the enquiry shifts from the changing world to the unchanging I. But the changes in the I, that it is clear, it is not clear, it is now paining, it is now healthy, all this the mind is aware. So the I, which represents all the senses, the changes in that is the drishya, and the drik is you. The drik has manas. But is manas the final drik? No, mind is also changing. And all the data bank you acquire with the good and the bad and the cause and the effect and the understandings of the buddhi. So the mind is dependent on the buddhi, is selected, is known by the buddhi. So the data you collect, hold on, is dependent on the selection of this will be useful for me, this will make me better, this will make me more able. And then you gather that data. Therefore, the mind is known by the buddhi. And that which knows the buddhi is greater than everything. And to know it, it has to know itself only. The witness of the witness is not other than the witness. Now, you have to be a self-witnessing one for you to be that consciousness which is unaffected by the seen. You are that seer who is self-luminous. Aduni, that self-luminous self is you. Aduni and Ammarehal Artidavu. That is what you are. You are not the seen. You are not the body that is changing. You are not the Prana Shakti which is changing. You are not the Manas which is changing. You are not the Buddhi which is changing. You are that Harivu, the self-luminous self. Aduniyan Rammarehal Artidavu. Immediately Maharishi is saying, as soon as you come across this and you have meditated sufficiently that it has to be truth, because in the Jnana Marga, the path is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. You listen, you apply yourself, you learn from library, you go and study the possibilities, all that is Shravana. Oh, I am that consciousness. Then manana, what is it? Many times you will be traveling, assuming you are the body, but you will be seeing some tree leaves. Oh, am I that? What does this mean, Adani? The inquiry will start exploding inside you. The manana starts happening. What is exactly meant by Adani? And then one comes upon the meditation that, of course, this cannot be just done by manana. I have to meditate. I have to put aside other thoughts and hold the meditation. And that is where Bhagavan comes in and says, better than the meditation, that I am that and I am not this. அது நான் இது ஒன்றென்று அது நான் தத்துவமசி அகம் பிரம்மாஸ்மி சோகம் 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 அது நான் that will be dhyana. And what we are doing in dhyana, the jiva, which confirms itself to be a jiva, holds the Parama as an object of meditation, knowing fully well that the Parama cannot have multiplicity. What the Jiva does in Dhyana, whenever multiplicity comes, it drops multiplicity and holds the Parama in the Dhyana as the Dhyana Lakshya. Idu aduna, idu andre. I am not this one apparently caught up in this body, trapped in it as the Jiva. No, I cannot be this. I have to be Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. That is what Ganapati Muni says. He has done crores of that. He has done crores of that. And then he comes to Brahmana Swami and Bhagavan says, and only the Maharishi can enter this area, such a holy area. Even now, when you listen to great ones, great sadhakas, great siddhas also perhaps, when they speak about this topic, they will skirt. They will not enter into which is better. We have to rely on Bhagavan to make this distinction for us and come out. You listen to any of those great ones. Many are available on the YouTube. Many are great, but they will not make this choice for the sadhaka and give. That better than the dhyana, which is the given route. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. The route is that, and that is why the great one Ganapati Muni has followed it. But only Bhagavan can bring us to this direct path. He says, as soon as you hear that, Adani, then what you should do? You should start inquiring, who am I? If the Vedas are saying that is what you are that Nirmala Swayam Prakasha Atma, then why am I caught up with all these things? Who am I? Aduniyan Ramaragal Artidabu Tannai Eduvendru Tandherthu Irade Adu naan idu andru என்றெண்ணல் புறன் இன்மையினால். So what is it that we do in dhyana? In dhyana, which Bhagavan again describes that in Upadesha Saram, Bhagavan brings us to dhyana. When we look at Upadesha Saram, the verses step by step, Bhagavan takes us to dhyana. Didamidu pujai jabamum dhyanam udalvaakku ulattolil undipara uyarvahum ondril ondru undipara. The puja is the offering of, in the physical zone, of flowers, of the japa, of the Parayana at the feet of Bhagavan. Didamidu Pujai. It is Udal. Jabam is Vak. And Dhyanam is Ulakthodil. Is the work of the mind with the mind. So one is physical, one is Vak. The speech is there, which is partly physical, partly mental. And then the purely dhyana is mind with the mind. And what is the best puja? Ennuru yavu irayuruvamena enni valipadal undipara. Isanar pujane. All the combinations of the Panchabhutas, the Surya, Chandra, or the Manas Buddhi, and the Jiva, the whole creation of all the worlds is nothing but a combination of this. If you keep like that, to worship God as that, all is Ramana Swarupa only. So, what will you have? That from that puja, that whatever you physically see, because it involves the physical act, whatever you physically perceive, whatever you touch, whatever you smell, whatever you taste, whatever you hear, it is all Ramana Swarupa. So what should be going on within you? When all the Pancha Indriyas are only exposed to Ramana, it is all Iraivuru. It is all Iraivuru. All the Panchendriyas are bringing only Iraivuru. So what is it that you have in that mind? In that mind only Ramana is there. Because the eyes are not bringing differences, the ear is not bringing differences, the nose is not bringing differences. Ennuru yavum Iraivuruvamana enni valipadal. Best way of worship is to say that all the, instead of treating them as Kalvar, Aimpula Kalvar, treat them as all giving input only of Arunachala. All of Aimpula Kalvar, Ahathinil Pugumpodu, Ahathil Ni Ilayo Arunachala. When they become Kalvar, only when we have this false notion that there are other things other than Arunachala there. Whereas if Ennuru Yavam Iraivuru, everything is Arunachala, then they don't become Kalvar. They are all servers. They all serve the Nama. And from puja, we automatically come to japa. The Vaduttalil, Vaikut Japatil, Vilpama Manadam Undipara, Vilambum Dhyanamidu Undipara. Uttamastavad, Uchamandattaha, Chittajam Japa, Dhyanam Uttam. So better than the loud speaking is the movement of the lips. Better than that is mind with the mind. Tattvamasi. Aham Brahmasmi. Soham. Ajyadaraya Srotasasamam. Sarala Chintanam Viralataparam. What is the best dhyana? Like the flow of ghee or the flow of water. The continuous dhyana, the unbroken dhyana. Because the natural state is an unbroken spurana. The unbroken dhyana is better than virala, the broken one. That is where the dhyana is taken. Veda bhavanat sohamityasa. Aniya bhavatil avanakamagu. Ananiya bhavame undipara. Anaitilam uttamam undipara. From the aniya bhavam. I am not this body. I am that pure consciousness. That is aniya bhava. There is me, the dhyani, and the dhyana lakshya. Whereas the Supreme Being is the very adhara. From where do you get energy to do dhyana? From where do you arise and then hold God as an object? Aniya bhavatil avanahamagu ananiya bhavame. Only the greatest, you see, who gives us this? Only Bhagavan can give us this clarity that how can you treat God as something apart from you? Is your very rising not out of Him? Can it be? Can there be a place where the omnipresent one is not there? So as soon as the Ammaregal, the Vedas say that thou art that, what should be your sadhana? your sadhana நான் எது என்று தான் தேர்ந்து இருக்க வேண்டும். We should engage ourselves in the ananya bhakti, the ananya dhyanam. In dhyanam normally there is the dhyani and the anyam bhavana of the parama, whereas in atma vicharam தான் எது, தன்னை எதுவென்று தான் தேர்ந்திராது, அது நான் இது அன்று என்று எண்ணல் புறன் இன்மையினார். That is because our inner strength has not gained poise yet. Oh, what should we do? Should we wait for inner strength to start? No. We should start with whatever simple thoughts we can inquire and go behind. For whom is this thought? Bhagavan comes to our aid by saying in one of the earlier verses, that is verse number 29, நானென்று வாயால் நவிலாது உள்ளாள் மனத்தால் நானென்றெங்குந்துமென நாடுகளே ஞான நெறி அன்றே அன்றிது நாம் அது வென்றுண்ண துணையாகும் அது விசாரமா. So here the jnani is telling us, go for this. There the jnani, the rishi, is giving upadesha to the sadhaka. Don't worry, the dhyana will come to your aid. You stick to atma vichara, the dhyana will come to your aid, because the dhyana lakshya is also this. I come to the aid of the ananya bhakta, says Sri Krishna, that even if God is a dhyana lakshya, and he is that, to the ananya bhakta, all the ananya bhakta's work I carry on my head, he says. There is that story where the Pandit is said to, I forget from which of the scriptures, where Sri Krishna is said to have assured all the works of the Ananya Bhakta I carry on my head. And while translating that, the scholar in his home, why should I make God carry my work on his head, or carry these fools? These are all sadhakas. Why their Lord God will carry on his head? And he translates it with some reduction, something like, I take care, or something like that. And he goes out for his normal day's work outside for some time. And when he comes back, the home which had no provisions, nothing, which partly pushed him to translate like that. He has not even given here what is it about carrying on his head and all that. When he comes back, the home is full of things. What a householder will anticipate and pray for, everything is there. And the wife says, what is it that you did to that boy? What boy? What? No, that beautiful blue boy who brought all these things on his head and kept here. Why did you hit him on his back that a wheel was there, black, in that beautiful form? Yeah, what? Which boy was this? Then he goes and sees his writing that the verse translation is cut and it is rewritten that I carry on my head. And the Ananya Bhakta's load is all carried by the Ishvara Shakti. It is. That is why Bhagavan says, hold this. And Bhagavan has come to this fool's aid without my knowledge. Just the holding of Atma Vichara. So many times Bhagavan has come to my aid, and I did not even know. That is how it has to be. That is how the dhyana shakti is. It is not that you are neglecting something and going. That very dhyana shakti is saying, do atma uchara. I will be with you, you do atma uchara. This is the direct path. You hold it, and Bhagavan stays with us. Can you believe it? It is the very same story in our case. That he literally carries everything for us on his head when we do atma ucharam. He literally carries everything. And we hit him on his back when we take doership back into our hands again. We leave that wheel on the beautiful person's back, that Ishvara, who can come in any form he wants. And that is the Rishi. That is why Bhagavan is called Ramaneshwara. He is the Ishvara. That Ishvara Padavi he has renounced. What is this Ishvara Padavi? What Spurana? Spurana has to go silent in Shivam. In the Atman, when you hold the Spurana and keep quiet, the Spurana goes quiet. Ganapati Muni, to whom the Upadesha was given, writes, Jagad Aham Para Spurati Metrayam Sadabidam Gira Tavami Samshayam Tvadupadesha to Galati Samvida Mai Niranyaya Sad Aham or Bhida. Either you take as the Triputi as Jagad Aham Para, or Sat and Aham as the seer and the real seer and the seen. All that becomes combined in me as one and shine as I, by your Upadesha, by your word. Have you not said, do self-inquiry? And by that Shakti of that word of the Guru, the experience comes. The mind goes still. The Atma Swarupa shines as I, and Bhagavan says, hold that and not ask anything of that. We are reading from Guru Vachaka Kovai that Devaraj Mudaliyar is asking, what is this Purana? Is it light or is it sound? And Bhagavan says, this Purati can be taken as light and can be taken as sound. And that is what he tells to Ganapati Muni, doesn't he? That you see, you observe from where the I thought arises, you observe from where the sound arises. So it could be seen as light or it could be seen as sound, but it is something that is unbrokenly shining, or spandana, the spurana is there. Then Devaraj Mudaliyar asks, what is it that shines as I? What is it that is this spurana? Is it the ego or is it the self? Is it the ego or is it the self? And Bhagavan says it is neither. It is something in between the ego and the self. And the self doesn't even have this spurana. So first, the Triputi has to be offered to this Purana, including us. The Jagadahampara is absorbed in this Purana. Who am I? Hold this Purana. Let the entire world, the Parama and the Jiva be absorbed in that. Or let the Sad and Aham be absorbed in that. Sadaham or Bida. Ahamiyontaras tamamalam hridi anubhavemavo stava kripayadi. Then the shining in the heart as I is this Purana of all the three, world, Jiva and Ishvara together. When you hold the Ananya Bhakti, that Ishvara who was considered apart automatically comes to our aid, because the Ishvara's Nijaswarupa is also that. Not that he goes down in any power. He is the most powerful. So far as you are the body, Ramana is the Ishvara. So far as we identify with the limited intellect, Ramana is the Ramaneshwara. But when we follow his opinion, Tava Kripayadi, with his Kripa, when we do who am I, he comes in support. The Ramana Shakti comes in support. It takes care of our tapas. It takes care of everything. All we have to do is have Shraddha and Bhakti in Bhagavan. And you have told this, I will try. I will give jiva to this. The full extent I will do Atma Vicharam. அது நீ என் ரம்மரைகள் ஆர்த்திடவும் தன்னை எதுவென்று தான் தேர்ந்து இராது அது நான் இதுவென்று என்ற எண்ணல் உரனின்மைதான். Our faith in Bhagavan is still weak. We have to strengthen. Hasn't Bhagavan told this? Should we not have faith? We should have fullness of faith. And like the sparrow, he says, one thought after another, just let go and hold. Who am I? Bhagavan is there with me. And he has asked me to do. Who am I? And we will come. We will know he is coming in support. Ramana, Ramana, Ramana. Many times when I couldn't continue the Atma Vicharam, I would have held Bhagavan's name and I didn't even know. The fools that we are in as sadhakas, but Bhagavan, the Ramana Kripa is there. He would come and he would infuse that consciousness with power to do the Atma Vichara again, and it will continue. Atma Vichara will continue. Just hold him 2-3 times, that's all. He will infuse with power. So, in 29th verse, he assures the dhyana, you are not alienating dhyana. Dhyana will come in support. Automatically it will come. You do the Atma Vicharam, you do the Jnana Neri. Have the Uran, have the inner strength. Says Bhagavan, have the inner strength. Start doing self-inquiry. Uran inmayinal. Endrum aduvetana yamarvadal. The Rishi's Anubhava is what he is sharing here. Always thou art that only. The Dashamana story which we have shared earlier, and which is one of Venkateshji's favorites. Did you become the Dasama after you were knocked on the hand by the wayfarer? No. Even when you were the dud who was crossing the stream, you counted only the others and felt one person miss. And all the 10 people were crying for the one person apparently lost. And the wayfarer comes and knocks in their hand. And they cry out, the 10th man is found. Was the 10th man only then? No. Aduvetanaya amarvada. Always, you are the self. Tattvam asi. You are that. You can't be anything else. As Akka would say that if all these are you, O Arunachala, from, I think it is in Navamani Malaya, Ashtakam. Akka, I think she will clarify, the better person to clarify that when everything is you, how can I be apart, asks Bhagavan to Arunachala. That is the situation here, and he is saying everything is the Brahman. Therefore, Aduvetana Yamarvadal, you are always that. Only let go of the Ajnana of all these bodily associations, the temporal associations of time and place. Hereafter I will become all right. Immediately cut. Who wants to postpone? I will go to that place and then I will become better. This place is surrounded. For whom is that? Take a dip into the Atma here and now. Because the Atma is shining beyond time, beyond place, beyond all conditionings. And it transcends everything. And that is what we are. We can't be anything else. That is why Bhagavan says, as soon as the Vedas you hear from someone that Aduni, this is the Mahavakya in the Vedas, that thou art that, immediately start inquiring, who am I? With Bhagavan's immense grace, let us sit in that practice. And it is not that we are neglecting the other paths. All the other paths will come in support as and when Bhagavan feels right. And they will stand. Because we are just following the Maharishi's Upadesham. And his own Nama will come as the Dhyana support. With that, let us build our faith. Let us strengthen our inner strength. And keep practicing. Let us sit till 8 o'clock when Akka will share her experiences with us.
नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
Namo Ramana. Namo Ramanaka.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining in the self as all being. By the immense grace of Ramana, who is that self manifest, we are meditating on the Ulladu Narpadu, and what a joy it is, such meditation, and how beautifully we were taken through this verse by Nanda Kumarji by giving us each and every aspect of our identification. How we subtly identify when my stomach is hungry, am I that stomach which is hungry? When my stomach is full, am I that stomach which is feeling nice and comfortable? Am I the one who is energetic? Am I the one who is tired? Right from there, the all the Pancha Kosha Viveka was done for us, taking us back to one of the early verses also of Ulladu Narpadu, where Bhagavan says, this body, which is Udalaim Porigal, and these five senses, this experience of the Panchakosha, the five senses, and that body, to that we are restricting the I. And again, then we were, and all this because Bhagavan has said, Adu nee endram marigal arthidagum. The Vedas have declared, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. We were brought to that point also. But that is one thing. The other is the experience of it. Not experiencing. After we know also, we have a little skit that we play. And in that, there is the story of the lobster and the crabs, and how a lobster visits the crab city. The crab city is in the beach, and they're all in those little tunnels. We can see when we walk on the beach, sometimes we will see little crabs running out of the sand. They run hither and thither, and quickly they will scamper back into the little holes. Such tiny holes will be there. And they'll go back and they're quite happy. That is their way. They are used to living there. Like that, we live in this tiny space of the I am the body idea. And when the lobster tells these crabs about the beauty of the openness, the sun, the sea, the expanse, most of the crabs, they don't want to listen to that. They don't want to go there. They're comfortable. And then we had said there are some others who say, "Oh, we are making paintings that that vast vista." That is like a crab making a painting of the sea instead of actually enjoying a swim in the sea. Is like Bhagavan saying, when the Vedas have already declared you are that, without being in that, எதுவென்று தான் தேர்ந்தது. Once you heard the sea is my home, instead of coming out of that little tunnel, instead of coming out of that city of half darkness, out and into the sea,
Is Akka not connected, or is it only for me? It's like that.
Okay, stuck only, uncle.
Okay. I think she's okay.
It's still not clear, Akka.
Connection.
1 minute, I've come back. This should be okay. I forgot to put on my hotspot. I came with the Wi-Fi that has an issue. That's how we depend. We depend on the weaker than the stronger. I forgot I had a stronger connection, and I kept automatically with the weaker connection. Just came on automatically without vigilance. So Bhagavan says, "Why don't you experience it? This wonderful treasure which is there." And in that story, of course, the lobster says, "Come, come with me. I'll take you into the sea." And while going into the sea, also, one of the crabs makes bold and comes out, says, "Somehow I must see the sea." And but then, on seeing the vastness of the sea, the crab is little worried. So the lobster says, "Okay, come, let's go in the boat." And why should lobsters and crabs go in the boat on the sea? They are creatures of the sea. They belong there. That is how we are. We belong to the self. But we take a boat, we will take a boat of our thought. We wear a suit. We wear some suit of going into the sea, with the suit of some sadhana, something we cover ourselves with. We don't experience it directly, we come out of it. And again, we try to go back again and again, forgetting it is our own space, it is our own home. It is more natural. Bhagavan says, once you are there, you will realize it's more natural than anything else you have ever experienced. Because everything else comes and goes. It is not our nature. Everything comes and goes. This too will pass. That is also something which he referred to, the famous story, this too will pass. Yes, this will pass. But there are many people who live their lives on the philosophy, this too will pass. Very good, very beautiful. You do not get attached to any of the things which are passing. But who is the I who is not attached? Who is the I who is detached? Who is the I who is able to be detached from all the passing events? Who is the I who may be attached also? If we inquire, it does not matter. We may have a beautiful identity. And we should not get tricked into following that beautiful identity. Such a wonderful point which Nandakumar just started out with. How we are constantly looking at becoming something better, of having better health, better being a better human being in some way or the other, being more alert in my work, being more alert, not making this mistake today, not making that mistake yesterday, and how much of hope Bhagavan brings to those of us who are constantly making mistakes. He says, doesn't matter, you are not the one who is making the mistakes. Not that we can escape, not that we do not take responsibility in this realm, but that we have the peace of saying it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What happens around us doesn't matter. Ups don't matter, downs don't matter, nothing matters because the truth is vast. The truth is beyond everything, all experience, beyond every kind of philosophy, every kind of scripture. Bhagavan is saying that all the scripture has done is the scripture has already shown you the path. You have heard it from the scripture. We have heard Bhagavan tell us. We have heard Bhagavan tell us, find out, inquire. Then what is our job? It is to inquire and abide, says Bhagavan. Even in the Ekashloki, which is embedded in the Ramana Gita and which can be meditated on separately as well, Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram. Bhagavan finishes with Hridivisha Atmanishto Bhavatvam. Hridivisha, Hridivisha. Why? How, Bhagavan? How should I enter? Doesn't matter. Enter. Enter. Swam Chinvata, Majata, Pavanachala, do what you will. Take it. That is the beautiful another incident which Nandakumarji will often narrate to us about the devotees. I want this. Take it, the self. It is yours. Is it so simple? Is it so natural? Another lady devotee. She comes and asks Bhagavan. I think it may be one of the kitchen helpers. Bhagavan, is it so simple? Yes, it is so simple, Bhagavan says. It is so simple. It is not complicated. It's not difficult. To make it difficult, that the fear, some thoughts, some habits, yes, they come back to us. And because they come back to us, Bhagavan says, Geduvendra than terndu iradu. Bhagavan does not say simply be. He is very kind. He knows that it is my being, but there is something which has disturbed me, something which has led me away from it. So I have to seek. தேர்ந்து இராது. I have to seek it and get back to the source. What is this source? What is this? What is this? Enquiry. And Bhagwan's inquiry is so beautiful, as Nandakumarji again told us, it comes back to us. The manana becomes a practice, it comes back to us. If we have heard him saying this during the class, then maybe during the course of the week, it will just come back when we are eating, when we are talking, when we are doing something else. When the mind says, oh, I am doing this, I am doing this, I am doing. And how can we say I am doing anything? With no control over the body whatsoever, with no control over the next breath. And the thoughts. Sometimes, I wonder about the thoughts also. How amazing. That's why Bhagavan says in Ashtakam, Adishaya Shakti. Oh, what wonderful. Every thought. How much of a myriad? It's like a diamond, multifaceted diamond. Because you see, if I just say, even if I say, I am hungry, knowledge of hunger, knowledge of food, knowledge of the body, knowledge of something called I, which is feeling all this, its memories, its emotions, everything joined together into one thought. How much of knowledge? When I see Bhagavan's face, when I recognize something, when I see, I say I am seeing, and then immediately so many things connected with that, all together it becomes one thought and comes. And how is it possible? Therefrom, that was the previous verse we learned. Wherefrom does this great power come? Wherefrom does this come? How is it possible that so much can be embedded even in one single thought? Am I the creator of this thought? Is there a source for this for me? And here, எது வென்று தான் தேர்ந்திராது. அது எது? What is that I? What is that I? What is this in me which says I feel, I experience, I want, I do not want? And what is it which says? And when we start inquiring with that real intense inquest, then Bhagavan says, Iru, then you will be. Iradu, terndu iradu. If I don't do it, after hearing all this, of what use is it? It is weakness of mind. I have often shared a story which Bhagavan has narrated, but I will repeat it in this context. It is of the Roma Maharishi, who it is said that he wanted to learn the scriptures, started studying the Vedas. He had a life. He had one, at the end of one kalpa, one hair on his head would fall, Roma. And until he was bald, he had life. So entire lifetime, he started wanting to learn, master the Vedas, and entire almost at the end of his life, he had not even mastered one Veda. He prayed for another 10 years. He was given another 10 years, still not completed one. Another 10 years. The third 10 year is coming to an end. He knows it will come to an end. And he is about to pray. Not yet prayed for an extension to study the Vedas. And then God, that's Almighty, in great compassion, gave him a dream. In that dream, he dreamt of four huge mountains of sugar, and one monstrous ant. Maybe the ant itself was so big. And what was the ant doing? Very fast, taking the sugar from one mountain and putting it near its home, taking the sugar from one mountain and putting it near its home. This is all the ant was doing. And the Maharshi got his knowledge. He understood. Adani, it is already told. Without tasting even one grain of sugar, what is the use of shifting all that knowledge from one place to another? Shifting the knowledge which is outside in a book, shifting the knowledge which is outside in this world, into this head, into this mind, into my thought, and feeling, I know. How much this arises in us. Every moment we think, I have learned this, I know this. What a beautiful sloka, and how beautifully, even in an earlier context, Nanda Kumarji gave this clue to us. And again, he has repeated it this time, and it comes to us. It will come to us every time it rises. I know this thought, I know this experience, and I want to grasp it. Earlier, Bhagavan already told us this ego will grasp, it will grasp. So instead of grasping even the best of things, in Ramana Gita also this question is posed. Is it enough? If we meditate Aham Brahmasmi, if we do all this, Bhagavan says nothing can equal the experience. The very first chapter, Muni's question is it all right to meditate on all this? But no, without upasana, without experience, without practice and experience, it cannot be attained. Bhagavan says it categorically. And that is how the Ramana Gita begins. It is for the sake of experience. It is not for the sake of gaining any new knowledge, even the best of knowledge. That's why Bhagavan says, highest knowledge, no, don't go for that. Go for experience. It is a great, immense grace of Bhagavan, which has not only given us this teaching, but allows us to meditate on it, imbibe it, and try to the extent possible to experience. Keep on trying by that very grace. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivaya.
Ramananjali, Ramananjali, Ramananjali.